Alright guys, give me just a second to drop this link and then the list of tickers people were asking about. Let me move this stuff around my screen. We're going to start looking at Bitcoin, then we'll dive into several of the tickers. Let's see. Make sure my mic is not muted. We don't need to have that situation happening. Okay, mic on. Good. Alright. Let me see. Alright, so Bitcoin. Yeah, I saw what Cowboy shared as well. I know he trades a lot of stuff shorter time frame. It was concerned about the volatility of Bitcoin. Honestly, from my standpoint, being in Bitcoin since 2017 or all crypto since 2017, this volatility the last few weeks is negligible. At least for me. You still have this very nice cup and handle setup going on, right? So to be expected. We got a nice bull flag here. So what I'm watching for is, for one, holding of this trend that we attempted to break down from, which you can see we're still holding that trend. And we're on the weekly chart here, by the way, so large candles. But I'm looking for hold of that trend, but also if we drill in a bit, we had the breakout of that downtrend, move there. We never actually fully retested. We did a little bit of retest right there on the daily, but honestly, my feelings wouldn't be hurt if we head down here and retest this 59 to 60k level before potentially moving up. Even then, we could also pull back this 51k range. Again, that volatility and that wide of movement's not that big of a deal for Bitcoin. That being said, we still very much have a bull flag breakout going out here within, as well as the inverse head and shoulders. So what I would be looking for here is if we can hold this support level. I'm going to call it a minor support, even though it looks like it's actually been more significant, because you can see it actually gets some testing back here too. But I'm going to mark it as a minor just for the sake of it. Be nice to see some consolidation here and holding that level in range. I think a lot of the stuff with crypto, you might have a little bit of hesitancy coming into play due to the election, just because how the different candidates have different feelings towards crypto as a whole. But yeah, Bitcoin's still very much bullish. Everything about the setup's bullish. We've got this red candle on the daily, which I think was a lot of the uncertainty that just came up in general, but it seems like it's still good. It'll be nice if we can see a breakout of this trend, which you can see here. We also have a trend test attempt if we come into there. So yeah, definitely still watching it. 4 hour and 1 hour still are in the uptrend, I believe. Yeah, so we still have an uptrend intact here, and I'm drawing these conservatively, by the way, like I do pretty much everything. Not playing nice. Here we go. Let's just undo. So Bitcoin, you can see we broke the trend here a bit, right? So curious to see how that plays out. That being said, that's still bull flag. So watch how that trend shakes out. Also, we never retested the head and shoulders neckline, so I'll be curious to see what happens there. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Look at ETH real quick. So same thing, inverse head and shoulders going on here. Upside down, so left shoulder, right shoulder, or vice versa, I guess, since we're upside down, right? But head. Neckline on this is going to be something like that if you're drawing it really, really conservatively. So if we break out above that resistance level, then price target's going to be minimally this trend line. But also, like I say, for anything else, like I watch the resistance levels between here and there. I'm long on pretty much any crypto I'm in on my cold storage wallet, so I'm not going to be like trying to sell off portions of it as I hit those levels anyways. I'll trade crypto short and long futures, leverage either which direction I need to make gains in the meantime. You also still have this nice bull flag intact here, which, I mean, I could draw it here and it'd be a bit more of a slanted angle. I like to be conservative though, right? So I'm going to draw it as a horizontal ray. I'm going to mark that there. So this is still a bull flag. Got the pole here. Make it big so everybody can see it. Yeah, we still got a bull flag going on here. Flag. So we'll see how that handles the consolidation breakout. Trying to perform a little bit of head and shoulders set up there, it looks like, so just keep an eye on that. But yeah, same thing. I don't really look at cup and handles on smaller time frames, but you do have one. And then also if you look at the weekly for ETH, same thing as what you'll see on a lot of crypto. There's a larger time frame cup and handle going on here that it's trying to break out or form the handle at the moment. So keep an eye on that. What was the crypto big chips? You asked me what platform I use to execute crypto trades. So I'll drop some screenshots of the probably 15 different brokers I use for crypto. I used to use Bittrex, was my main go-to, and then like for years I used Bittrex, and Bittrex ended up finally doing what many other crypto exchanges did, where they basically completely stopped supporting US based customers because look at Doge for you, man. But they stopped supporting US based IP addresses and customers because the regulations and the legal restrictions here made it so hard for them to actually perform or provide the service to US based customers because of all the legalities with the SEC and tax things and things like that with the IRS. So a lot of exchanges actually don't allow US based IP addresses anymore. You obviously have like Coinbase here in the States, and then crypto.com also is another common one. Robinhood technically has wallets and everything. My problem with Coinbase and Robinhood and crypto.com is that they have like really heavy fees baked in, which is how they make a lot of their money. I get that. But when I was trading on exchanges, like when I used Bittrex, or if I use LBank or Gate.io, Kraken, a lot of those other exchanges, which I've traded on many over the years, it's more of a true crypto exchange, which honestly it's kind of overwhelming, the interface, for a lot of people that aren't using it or used to using a true crypto exchange. It's not as simple as when you go into Robinhood or Coinbase and you buy X number of dollars worth of crypto. It looks more like a true exchange-based interface with non-stop buy and sell orders trickling across over on the right-hand side. So my go-to right now for leverage crypto futures is LBank. To be fair, it also technically blocks US IP addresses, or it's supposed to. It hasn't flagged me recently on my phone. I think because I signed in with a VPN at one point, so it thinks my IP address is something else, but that's the workaround for actually being able to trade with any of the exchanges you want in the States, is using a VPN. So, yeah, exactly. Big chips. So, LBank, I used the VPN one time, and then after that, I don't know if they just had my IP coded in as like non-US based or what, but yeah, it worked fine after that. I did have one time where it basically wouldn't let me. This was many months before that situation, but it actually like didn't let me trade, so I couldn't sell, even though I had like several $1,000s of crypto in my hot wallet at the time because I'd been trading futures with it. All of a sudden, for some reason, my IP did flag as US based, and it locked down my account, and I couldn't trade the crypto in or out. So keep that in mind. There is risk added there. I still do it, but I will tell anyone that like straight up do not store all your crypto or large amounts of money on hot wallets. I don't care if you love Coinbase and trust Coinbase or not. At the end of the day, like if it's not your keys, not your crypto, you should be storing any long-term holdings on a cold storage wallet. Like the Ledger is what I use. I've got quite a few ledgers, but yeah, that's what I would recommend. So back to charts real quick for you. I think was it Saul that you asked about earlier? Sorry, I'm trying to look over here in the lounge real quick to see what crypto you were asking me about earlier today. If it was Saul, tell me, or if it was something else, tell me. I'll look at Doge in the meantime while I'm waiting. But Doge. So Doge is still. Oh, check that out! They got a cool little dancing dog. Cool. Doge is in this current breakout, right? So we traded off the inverse head and shoulder setup, and we broke through the first target, and right now it's still rocking. It's doing a retest, which it looks like it's attempting to hold that, which is great and beautiful. That's good back test. So I'll look for the bounce there and move to the upside. If it breaks and confirms below that support there, that's a good opportunity for trading like leverage short futures. So Doge, I'll usually trade like 20x or 50x. If you're not used to trading crypto futures, definitely look into it more and be careful because you will get liquidated. It's not like trading stock options or stock futures where, you know, you got till expiration. Like if you go past your liquidation price or if it tags it, they're going to take your money. And I learned that the really hard way back in 2021 when I was getting used to how crypto futures worked and lost, I think, like $15,000 on one single liquidation. So be careful. Start small and then grow from there if you do choose to mess with it. But yeah, there's also, you can see a nice little volume pickup going on there with Doge too. So meme coins, people like cheap meme coins. So that's something that I think Doge has got good levels there. I'll drop all the charts into each of the crypto specific channels over the Discord just so people have them. But look at SHIB real quick just because I know people asking to look at Sol too. But SHIB, I don't have as many levels marked on this chart. They're mainly over on my Weeble, it looks like, so I can remark this up and share it, but I don't want to waste time doing that right now. Apparently I don't have Sol marked on this. That's right, because Sol is on my Kraken charts, and I don't know if I'm even signed into Kraken over here. I'll check real quick. My luck, I'll probably do this and it'll flag my account since I just did this on here with no VPN connected. While that's loading, I'll jump over here, which is probably what's taking forever. It's validating my VPN. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll come back and I'll post a Sol chart for you in the Sol channel. But let's see if I go over to the stocks y'all are wanting to see. So let's check in on NVDA and several others from today because we did have some of that nice window dressing that I mentioned we would likely see for the end of month, end of quarter. A lot of the charts this morning played out great, so they did similar to what we were expecting. There we go. So yeah, let's jump to the daily real quick and look at where the candles closed and look where rejections happened. So NVIDIA, same thing here, right? Is you've got this breakdown that happened here off the rejection and follow through. So we did get that retracement. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow. In the next day, do we have news tomorrow? Tuesday. Job openings. Okay, we do have some fun data in the morning. I'm not signed into anything on this one. All good. Yeah, we got some fun data coming in the morning, so definitely keep an eye on this. I like how we got the weekly and monthly, or I'm sorry, the quarterly and monthly lows on some things where we did. So like, and sorry, this looks like crap because I've got all these smaller time frame things with the monthly, but you can see we actually closed the month green, and that's a bullish engulfing candle on the monthly, so that's nice on NVIDIA. I want to see how it plays out to see if this current trend is going to hold intact or not. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'm still in some puts that were runners. So like the 110 puts that I swung over the weekend, I still had some runners on. I think they hit 59%, 57% this morning. So that's why I was trading off that trend rejection there. But keeping an eye on that smaller time frame for NVDA in the coming days, you can see I've got some of the levels marked here. One thing that I noted earlier today is this trend break. So see this trend line here? It's our smaller time frame uptrend. So NVIDIA did catch itself and try to push back above that right there before close. So we at least held the trend even though we temporarily broke below it. So we'll see where we go tomorrow, whether or not that stays intact or not. Ultimately, what I'm looking for here is whether or not we can hold and break out, because I know we were talking about the retest and back testing and all that the other day. Technically, if you're looking for a retest or back test, you're looking for the top of your trend to be tested, not the bottom. I'm not sure why this here. That's weird. Something got moved on one of those candles, but that's why. So yeah, you can see that the rejection happened there. That looks much better and more like I would expect anyway. So I'm gonna lock that because I don't want that to accidentally get moved again. Yeah, so rejection at trend, right? Same thing. Let's see whether or not this retakes, and then we get another breakout attempt. You can see I've got the top target up here as well for the measured move. So like I'm not a bear. I'm just being careful about how I'm trading the setup. In the meantime, also following the well flows to see what they're doing because I'm trading based off that. I think my NVIDIA 120 calls that I sold as covered calls, what was that, last week or the week before last? Sorry, last week was kind of a blur since I was out of the office and everything too, but it looks like we are trying to hold that. I want to see a rejection below there, and I may consider closing or buying to close my covered calls on NVIDIA just so I can resell them again if we do get a bounce. But as of earlier today, I was up a good bit on those. I think like 15%. So it works well as a hedge, but also it can be profitable. So let me jump over to Tesla real quick. We've been talking a lot about Tesla, so same thing I mentioned, right? Is like I like where the monthly close is here. It's above, and you got this big green candle. That being said, you literally have 3 big events / IV crush potential possibility situations arising with Tesla right now. So you've got delivery numbers this week on Wednesday. You've got the robo-taxi event on 10/10, and then you've got the earnings on, was it the 16th? So yeah, you don't, especially in the supply zone here, like it's dangerous. You don't chase calls in this zone on Tesla, especially when the premiums are as jacked as they are right now. It's fantastic as an option seller. Like that's the reason you see me selling covered calls in this range, right? Which is what the boxes say. So I made significant gains into last earnings by selling covered calls in the range. I like to sell at the top of the range, even if it peaks out. That's okay. These ranges are ranges I've identified based off the supply zones for one. I've also identified them as key levels of support and resistance, which supply and demand trading, yes, but also the whales tend to be selling in these same ranges, and I've identified that and figured it out over the last 3+ years. So I'm sticking with that approach. It's worked really well, and it's helped to accumulate more shares. So I will be looking for another rejection here or even consolidation within that zone, similar to what we did last time. The problem is if we consolidate here, if you're sitting in calls, the premiums are getting wrecked. Like, because the theta decay is insane right now because the premiums are already so high on the options. But also the IV's jacked, so theta decay's worse. And then even without the IV crush of each of those events, you're sitting there and chiseling along on your premium. So that's why even trying to jump into leap calls or longer term calls on something like Tesla in this range is so dangerous. Because if it trades flat, you keep sitting in it, or even worse, you average down. By the time you get to a point like this where you actually hit a day-to event and you have to make a decision of holding through it and hoping it goes in your favor, you run the risk of hitting that event and then getting IV crush, or worse, what happened last earnings where the people that were in call options all through the zone that didn't lock their profit and all the chances they had got absolutely destroyed. And those call options have never recovered back to the same level they were at, even the leaps. So I can show an example of that with a chart tomorrow. But like I mentioned before, I've been selling the 1118 covered calls most recently here, because when Tesla gets in this range, it tends to stay in that range for less than 2 to 3 weeks. So if we consolidate in the range, great. I make money off the covered calls. If we break out a little bit of the range, that's fine too. I'll keep an eye on the whale feed. If I see larger whales starting to like close out their call positions at the top of a range, that is sort of a red flag to me that, okay, I need to evaluate whether or not I need to roll my calls out further, or if I need to buy to close my calls. And for those that aren't used to trading covered calls, keep in mind, for the sake of just keeping things super simple right now, let's say when Tesla was at 230, I sold a covered call for $3,500 or $35 for each contract, right? $35 per underlying share of that contract. Y'all know what I'm saying, but I get $3,500 for that options contract, and I sell a 230 strike. I don't know what the price even is right now. I need to go look. But let's say I sold it when the share price was around 230 or something. Basically, what that does is that means that even if I was to ride it to expiration, and if I got assigned and I had to sell my 100 shares per contract at 230 per share, I would have made 230 per share plus that $3,500, right? So I still come out ahead in that situation of what the share price is right now, if y'all follow. So like, don't get hung up so much on the whole, what if I get assigned, what if I don't get assigned, because ultimately I got like 265 per share is effectively what that worked out to. Not that I have been assigned, because usually I don't. I can always buy to close before, or the IV crush is so significant with the data events like earnings that I can just close the day after for dirt cheap. I know Joe did that last time, but like I said, that's part of how I pick my strikes. I pick strikes that are above the zones that I'm in, or at a price point that if I sell the strike, I can still net significant gains. So watching the breakouts and everything on Tesla here, the weekly, if I zoom in here, so we're still early in the week, right? But what I would like to see, yeah, I can do Google Analyzer, especially since I still have some of the swing puts. And they did offer, I think, 7% gains today. I need to update them, but I'll do Google here in a second for you. So what we've got here, I'd like to see a higher high. The inverse head and shoulder setup is still here, but for me, the risk to reward's not worth it when the contracts are basically 1,500 plus each, and you're risking that much money to potentially make 30, 40, 50% gains. There's a lot of other things you can trade to secure that size of gains on a contract without taking the risk that you're taking with trading Tesla in this level. That's why I'm selling covered calls here, because it's more favorable for me as from a risk to reward standpoint to be on the opposite side. So I hope it breaks out and runs and everything. That'd be great, because y'all know I'm long on lots of shares at this point, and I would love to kind of switch up a little bit, but until we actually see it confirm and follow through on the weekly, monthly, and we get past those events and it doesn't just get wrecked back into the zone like it did before, then I'll keep trading carefully. I'm going to jump over to Google real quick, and then I'll go through the normal ones just because Analyzer was asking about it. So Google, let me show you what's up here. So, alright, check this out. We've got this bear flag bearish pennant that we broke down from previously. We're also now running into this supply zone, which I can draw it to make it a little bit easier to see here for you. But there's a supply zone basically here. I'm going to drop this down. Like 167 is a key level. If it rejects it at 167, it's typically painful for Google. Flip side, what I would want to see for trading this to the upside to that target would be a confirmation on the daily, potentially the weekly. I'd probably risk it on the daily if we got a daily close. Same thing why I didn't right here. We rejected on the daily and didn't break out above 167, so therefore trading to the upside didn't make sense. But right here, what we have right now, while it feels really bullish and there's a bit of an inverse head and shoulders forming there, you still have a setup to where basically we broke down from a bear flag or a bearish pennant and have retraced. And now technically from a technical standpoint, you could see something like, draw this arrow, or I'll just draw this trend line. You can see something like this play out, right? Where you hit that level again after the retracement, then you reject back down to move lower. If you want to see an example of that, look at SMCI, right? And I'll show you, because this one, while it's volatile and crazy, it's actually really good for showing this chart setup. So if you're looking here on the daily, bear flag, breakdown, bear flag, breakdown, but most importantly, for this example, if we look at this one right here, you can see broke down, attempted retracement, same thing over here, broke down, attempted retracement, consolidated, broke down again. So you want to be careful here. SMCI still is very much bearish at this point. Same thing, the setup is kind of playing out on Google. The drawback on Google is if it hits any antitrust lawsuits in the coming weeks or months, it's going to wreck it again. So there's just so much risk there right now. So I'll swing those puts that I'm in at the moment, but I'm not trading Google to the upside yet. Let's see, what other tickers did we have on the list that y'all were asking about specifically? Just because, let's see, I've got, yeah, I'll check that one for you. GameStop. I was kicking myself on GameStop earlier because I was going to day trade some calls and I got sidetracked before something I didn't. But I saw the bull flag setup we had going on there, but there was this intraday bull flag here that we broke out, and I was going to trade calls from that level to that resistance, which you can see again that we tagged that price target right, and we did during active trading hours this time. So if anybody's in those longer swing calls, congrats, you made awesome gains. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on this. If we can push out above that level, then GameStop could rip. And the price targets are up there at the 25 level and the 29 level. So keep an eye on that, because that's breakout, that downtrend. Palantir, because Tony keeps asking about it, he's trying to gauge it. So I still like the bullish setup that we've got going on Palantir. The bull flag is still intact there. You can see the green flag itself. Measured move price target puts it up in that 45 range, which is historical resistance. So yeah, here we've pushed up and then we've consolidated in the zone. What you want to watch out for here is we'd like to see a big buying candle, a green candle with some volume behind it as we push above it. I'll be looking for that on the daily. And then I'll look for confirmation, because like right here, yeah, we got the buying volume, right? Nice big push, but then we didn't get the confirmation candle. It rejected the next day. At that same exact time, I also saw big sell-off and bearish positions on the options flow for the whales. So that told me they're expecting a bit of a rejection at that point. They closed out some of their cash secured put options at that point too. So that was obvious that we were probably going to reject, and we did. And rejecting consolidated within this zone. So I'm watching closely to see if we can push higher here. I think this is a stock a lot of people like. It's one of my favorite longs, so I'll keep watching it and see where we go. Let's see. What else are we in? We're in lots of swings right now that we're kind of watching play out, but also being careful about. So pull up my account on the other screen here so I can actually see what we have trimmed on versus haven't trimmed on. So micro strategies right there, it's going to reflect similar to what we're seeing on Bitcoin and some of the others, right? You can see if you were listening this morning for the other video I did, I wanted to see MicroStrategy hold this level. I also actually saw some bullish options coming through for MicroStrategy, so that's good. Someone's expecting it to pop to the upside, so that's actually a good little support hold there. I'll be curious to see how that shakes out in the coming days. I think the call options I saw, they were at some. Let's see, Apple. Um, that's I like that. It's a nice bullish candle there, and the momentum's good. I know that we scalped some lotto puts on Apple. I really would like to long it once we get confirmation in the zone of breakout here, but I want to see a push right above that previous high so we can test this high. Because if we can push right above that 235 level, maybe that's a really tight zone. I don't know if I'll trade like calls on that because a $2 to $3 move with the risk of tagging a rejection here, it's going to be hard to secure 30% plus gains, which is normally what I'm shooting for from a risk to reward standpoint. I'll keep an eye on it to see. Maybe we can scalp some calls on the setup. Overall, it's a really bullish setup, so I dig that. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Microsoft real quick. Yeah. So Microsoft has the same head and shoulder setup going on it. You got a bull flag going on right here, so maybe we can hold this support and push up. That being said, this zone gets real choppy, and this zone has a lot of resistance within it, so be careful if you're trading calls in that range. I personally will probably wait to trade calls on it, at least for the time being. I don't think I'm in any puts on it either at this point, just because everything we were trading was really short term, but I'll keep an eye on Microsoft as well, and if I see something that makes sense to trade, I'll alert it. I think that's pretty much everything I was going to cover. We covered some of the crypto, covered some of the stocks. I'll cover some more stocks that we didn't cover maybe tomorrow in pre-market, but yeah, in the meantime, one thing too, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. That way, if I get more likes and subscribe, they give me more features and functionality I can use to make this a little bit better experience for you. Analyzer, is it your headphones? It may be, if I'm skipping a little bit, it may be my mic or the playback quality as well. So if you have your YouTube, make sure you go down to playback and change it to 1080p to make sure that the quality is coming through optimally. For some reason, whenever I'm streaming higher bandwidth on these charts and stuff, it can chop out the video or the audio a little bit, but I think my internet speed's like multiple gigabytes. So yeah, Big Chip said YouTube's been funky all day, so it's not just him. Check real quick over on bullish rates, see if anybody over there's needing me to pull a ticker. Yeah, you want me to look at NHOD, NCI. I'm not familiar with trading each of those. So NHOD? NCI? And some of y'all are trading some wacky meme stocks. Like, I don't know. I don't touch this kind of stuff anymore. Like, it's not worth it. So, Votrake, I don't, like, I know people push tickers like this over on Wall Street Bets and everything else and on Facebook groups, but it's just, for me, I don't mess with them. SMH, I'll look at real quick and then we'll call it. But yeah, same thing. You got this head and shoulder set up here. Watch that trend line. If that breaks down, it's going to get filthy, and semiconductors are going to go with it. So keep an eye on some of the Chinese stocks too. That's partially why NEO got the big pop it did, but all the stimulus flooding into China right now is helping out those Chinese stocks. So yeah, cool. I'm going to call it wraps. If there's any other charts or videos or questions or anything you need, feel free to, drop it in the lounge or the trading floor, depending on which Discord you're in. Also, feel free to shoot me a message. And just a reminder, like, look over in Getting Started or look over in the lounge or anything and, like, confirm that it is me. Like, I never message people directly, and if I do, I'm going to tag you in the lounge. It's very, very rare that I do, so I guess I can't say never, but there's tons of scammers and spammers out there that will make fake accounts that look just like mine, and they're not mine. So if someone contacts you trying to sell you something through messages, that's not me because I don't roll that way. So feel free to ask in the lounge. Also, if you ask and I say it's not me, report the account so they don't mess with other people. But, alright guys, I'm going to call it a wrap. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys later.